Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and do an update on the Wegovy injection that I use. I use it primarily for weight loss, to be honest, but I also use it for weight loss and my sugar problems, which are related. So I have something called hyperinsulinemia, and I can, if I want to, take metformin. Metformin is a drug for diabetes. I was on it for a long time, but it didn't help me, and I did consider taking metformin instead, but yeah, it caused me all sorts of tummy issues, and it gave me a lot of low blood sugar, and it didn't work for me. So anyway, I was asked if I would do a Wegovy update, and I checked my calendar, and it has been a year, almost 2 weeks away, and it will be a year. So I thought it was a good time to do an update, especially since it may take me 2 weeks to get the video up. I'm probably going to post this video both on the Beauty Maverick channel and also on my health channel, just because I think there'll be a lot of people on this channel interested in this, or I know there are from last time, and the alerts don't always seem to work. You know, people will say, I haven't seen a video from you in ages, and there's been several up. So I thought it was worth posting on both channels, and you can just watch it wherever you are. And I know that I've also got a lot of viewers on the Life as a Zebra channel that don't necessarily follow this channel. Okay, so I'm going to just give you some figures. In September 2023, that's why I'm saying a year, because it'll be a year in September, and what are we, the middle of August now. I was 84 kilos, which is 13 stone and 2 pounds, or 185 pounds. I like to give it in the 3 different ways, because obviously we all measure it differently, don't we? I wouldn't normally use kilos. I would have done it in stones, but we weigh Watson. That was a little child coughing. It didn't sound healthy. We weigh Watson, and we've got one of those scales where, so Kev steps on, then presses a button, then steps on again holding Watson, and that way we can weigh Watson. And we have to compare that to what the vet weighs him as, which is in kilos. So that's why we use kilos. So that's what I was in September 2023. In now 2024, so today is Monday, I did this on Sunday, yesterday, I am 73 kilos. So a loss of 11 kilos. I am 11 stone 4, so a loss of nearly 2 stone, so 2 pounds away from 2 stone. And I am 160 pounds versus being 185 pounds, so a loss of 25 pounds. So the total loss is 1 stone and 10 pounds, 25 pounds, 11 kilos. So I'm really happy with that. That is not, like, people have lost a lot more than that using this, and quicker, you know, but I am really, really happy with that, because I feel like I'm at a weight where it's just made all the difference. I definitely want to lose another, what would I say I want to be? Probably another 8 kilos would be lovely. I think it's unlikely. Another 5 kilos, I'd be delighted. If I could be 10 stone anything, that would be great. So yeah, I would definitely love to lose more, and I can't say that I'm walking around feeling confident, but it's gone from my tummy area, and I think that's important to know, because that's maybe one of the questions some people will have. You know, where does it come off? I suppose it'll come off different in everybody, but I wondered if I would lose the tummy area, because that's the bit that I was most paranoid about, and that's the bit that I really struggled with wearing clothes. And I feel like now, when I go on my holiday this year, I would be happier, not happy, but I would be happier doing vlogs where I'm in the video, you know, full length. Because last year I wouldn't have. This time last year, when I was 84 kilograms, there's no way you'd have seen me full length. I would avoid that at all costs. You'll notice there's been no like outfits of the day or anything like that in the past year, because I just wasn't happy with that area, and I couldn't ever find anything to fit me that, you know, covered up that area, especially because, although I am actually wearing quite a baggy top today, I don't tend to suit baggy t-shirts. I tend to, well, or anything, I tend to suit fitted things, and with fitted things, obviously you can't then hide your tummy. And so I never ever found anything that I felt comfortable with, and no matter what I put on, no matter what I did to my makeup or hair, I never felt good in an outfit at all. You know, I would always catch a glimpse of myself, like as I was going to meet my friend for lunch, I'd catch a glimpse of myself in windows, and I'd, you know, recoil like that. I don't do that as much now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not like, oh, you look good. I don't feel like that. But it's like, I'll look in the mirror and go, oh, thank goodness that tummy area now look more sort of evenly curvy than just that area. So that's something I'm delighted with. I'm delighted with the whole thing, to be honest. Dress size, I can't say what I've gone from to, because I've not really. I had to buy a new pair of jeans from River Island, and I know that I bought a size 16. I was having to buy size 18s. Hold on, let me check. So I suppose you're going to have to see full length me, aren't you? I'm going to have to do a photo, kind of before and after photo probably, although I think it's the same. So, see, I'm holding myself in. That's instinctual, isn't it, when you're like showing something on. That's my tummy now, but it was definitely much, much more. And, you know, part of that is to do with the PCOS. Don't know whether anything's come off my bum. Yeah, PCOS means that's where you hold all your weight, you know, around your middle. Sorry, you're shaking there. I'm just going to check these jeans. These are my jeans, River Island jeans. Yeah, you can see that they are a size 16 regular. Now, River Island jeans I find are quite small fitting, so I would say I'm probably about a size 14 on the bottom, and I notice I'm back to being a 10 or a 12 on the top. Have I changed my bras? I've not changed my bras actually yet. No, I think it's coming. I can feel them. They're a bit baggy at the sides, you know, and my knickers keep falling down, so I need to buy a whole bunch more knickers, because I would buy them in a size 16 from Marks and Spencer, so I probably need to buy size 14 knickers. And I was a 36D in bras, and I'll probably go back to being a 36C. What else is there to tell you? I'm trying to think of all the questions I've been asked since, you know, from then till now about the Wegovy injection. I still get zero side effects, literally zero side effects. But I had minimal anyway, you know, and as I said in my video about Wegovy, I would say that's probably because of my hyperinsulinemia. That's just a theory, that's not proven, but I feel like if there's a problem to correct, it will correct the problem. If there's no imbalance in your sugars, then, because that's how it works, it's partly how it works anyway, then I feel like that's when it might give you some side effects like the nausea and vomiting, that kind of thing. Now, the most important thing I think to say is that although I am 73 kilos at the moment, I was 72 kilos in June, so 6 weeks ago or so, 6 or 8 weeks ago. And I started putting weight on again. And since then, it's sort of gone slightly up and slightly down. It's not going up as much as it used to. So that's something I've noticed with me being naughty, if you like, with what I've been eating. It doesn't go up. It's not going as high as I expect. Every week, we all weigh ourselves on a Sunday and put it on the chart on the wall. And every week I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have put on 2 or 3 pounds, because that's what it was like. Even when I was dieting, I had this formula I used when I dieted up to my wedding. And my wedding, I was 9 stone something, 9 stone 4, I think. Maybe I wasn't, maybe it was 10 stone 4. I've been down at 9 stone. Anyway, I lost a lot of weight on the run up to my wedding, on the year or two before my wedding. And the way I would do it is I would lose, from Monday to Friday, I would lose 4 pounds. So I would weigh myself on a Monday, weigh myself on a Friday, and aim to lose 4 pounds. I would then weigh myself on a Monday again, and I had put 2 back on again. That's how quickly I put on and lose weight, you know, so that overall I lost £2 a week. And so I was expecting to have put on a lot when I had these sort of binges. And it started off with my birthday, which is in June. And since then, like I said, it's sort of, I think it gave me a taste back for the things that I was enjoying. Like I got a bottle of Baileys and had a couple of Baileys, and then there was a bottle of Baileys there, so I just have a little bit of Baileys with milk, but still Baileys is very fattening. It's probably the worst thing you can drink, you know. It's alcohol, it's cream, it's sugary, it's everything that's not great for you. So it's kind of fluctuated since then. This Sunday I think I had dropped maybe £0.5 pound. And so hopefully I'm kind of getting back on the wagon. One of the questions asked recently was, does this work on food noise? And I would say it does, but not 100%. And if you're a foodie, if you've struggled to lose weight, you'll know exactly what I mean by food noise, or what everybody means by food noise. It's where, and you may have heard me saying it, I wake up in the morning, or I did before Wegovy, and I'd literally think, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I having for lunch today? And then if there was something that we'd planned to have nice for dinner, I'd be like, well, I'm looking forward to having dinner. Now, with the migraine, it's worse, because if I've had a migraine all day, the one thing I enjoy is food, and especially if it's something, especially if Kev was home and he was able to cook for me, or if we went out for dinner or whatever, or if, you know, he would often bring me home chocolate, something like that. If it was something that was given to me, then it's something I can actually enjoy with a migraine. And there's very few things when it's really bad that I could enjoy. But even that aside, I've always looked forward to food and been like, oh, we're going to have a Chinese on Friday, or, you know, and constantly thinking about food. So that's what people mean by the food noise. It's like every time I went to a supermarket, every single time, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, for me to go into a supermarket and not buy myself a bar of chocolate and eat it. Sometimes even before I got to the car, to be honest. Sometimes it was gone by the time I got to the car. Whereas now, like I noticed yesterday, I went to the supermarket and I actually didn't think about a chocolate bar. And that's really unusual, even for this past year, because I do still sometimes think about it, but it's more like I have a choice. I don't feel as addicted, you know. It felt like a drug before. It was like, I have no choice. I absolutely need to get this chocolate bar and I need to eat it right now. That's what it felt like. It doesn't feel like that anymore. Even if I do decide to have one, I do still want one. You know, I'm like, when I go to Sainsbury's, I know that they sell Star bars and I love Star bars. And I'm like, oh, I'd really like a Star bar, but I don't want to mess with my sugars, you know, and I'm really trying to be good. And so sometimes I give in, but most of the times I don't. And so, yes, it works on the food noise, but not 100%. As I said in my previous Wegovy video, you have to still, there is still some willpower. Another thing I would say about me having put weight on since June is I haven't done yoga for 4 weeks now, because my head has actually been really, really bad. And it's been so hot that it's a long story, but basically Watson's at home and we don't leave him, and Kev's been away a lot, and so it's just not been possible for me to do my yoga, and I've had a few kind of aches and pains, which is a whole nother story and nothing to do with Wegovy. But I'm not doing my once a week yoga. I'm doing a bit at home, but it's not as intense as the one I was doing. I keep meaning to get to the gym actually and go on the bike, and I will go back to the yoga probably in winter when it cools down. The place that I went, there was kind of the final straw in the coffin. Straw in the coffin? Final nail in the coffin. Straw on the camel's back. Was that I went to this class. I think it might have exacerbated my migraines a couple of times because of the moves, these particular moves we were doing. And those classes that they do seemed to last like about 6 weeks, and then she changed this program. So that was one of the reasons I stopped, because we were doing this thing like a fish where you put your head back, and I know that moving my neck backwards and forwards in certain ways does cause a migraine, and I'm pretty sure it happened twice after the class. But I went to this one class and it was just so hot, and she wasn't putting the aircon on, and I was just, yeah, that doesn't work for me at all. It was just unpleasant. I just didn't enjoy the class. But that will have made a difference. You know, if I was doing yoga once or twice a week, that will have made a difference to me losing or putting on weight. So like I said, you still have to put in an effort, but it's much easier to do, much easier to do. So at the moment, what I'm eating, I've actually found the last week suddenly, for some reason, the Wegovy seems to have kicked in a little bit more. And I do wonder if I had one of them that was out of the fridge for longer than I wanted it to be, because it had arrived when I had a migraine. My husband was working at home. He answered the door and just got given a box. Didn't realise it was my Wegovy, and so didn't put it in the fridge. So I didn't notice until I got up, probably an hour or two later. And so it was sitting out, which wasn't good. They come in like with ice packs and whatnot, but they had all melted. So I don't know whether that wasn't as effective, and now this new pen that I'm using maybe is more effective. I don't know. But I have noticed this last week or two, I feel like this week particularly, I feel like I've got more willpower, you know. I'm not as bothered, and I've noticed that a couple of times in this past week I've gone until like 10, 11 o'clock and gone, oh, I haven't had my breakfast, you know, or it's 2 o'clock and I've not had my lunch. So those sorts of things are still happening. I actually thought to myself that the reason I was putting on weight when I stopped, like I said, my birthday week, I was just binging all over the place, and we were on holiday as well for a week, and so, you know, we stopped for McDonald's burgers and we ate all the things that I love in the week. We had a different meal each night that I love that was naughty, you know, on the naughty list, like spaghetti bolognese. I love, and I have loads of cheese with it. Sorry about that. That was actually my boiled eggs that I'm boiling to make sure I've got something in to either snack on or have for lunch. Yeah, I thought the reason for me putting on weight after my little binge was that I was having lunch for a while. I think because Kev worked from home, there was a couple of weeks where he was at home 3 days out of the 5, and he buys bread to have for his sandwiches. I tend to not have bread for my lunch. I'll have something low carb if I can. But when he's there, I'm always tempted, especially if I've got like leftover egg mayonnaise or tuna mayonnaise from the weekend where I made us sandwiches. I'll eat like a protein bagel at the weekend when we go out. I'll take one with us. And so I was eating my lunch, I was eating a full breakfast, and I was also eating all my dinner. I had a few dinners that I really enjoyed. Whereas I think what happened at the beginning of the Wegovy experience and also Saxenda is I didn't ever want to finish my meal. So like on a Saturday night, I'd only eat 3 pieces of pizza, whereas now I seem to be eating the full 4. So I thought that was maybe the reason for my weight gain as well. But I think everything's a contributor. It's that I'm eating more food in general. I'm not exercising as much, so I need to step it up. And like I said, this week I feel a little bit more back on track. So I've boiled my eggs. So I'll have 1 boiled egg for lunch with maybe a little bit of ham and some raw carrots. I love raw carrots, and maybe some sweet corn or something like that. And then we've got second day chili for dinner tonight, and I had a little bit of Greek yogurt this morning for breakfast. I'm trying to have that instead of my shake. I'm trying to do something as low carb as I can, and with Greek yogurt it's got a lot of probiotics in it. I'm reading all about the gut microbiome and all of that. So that's what I'm eating at the moment. So I'm not really snacking in between. I suppose that's the good thing. Well, that's not true, actually. I've been making these air fryer cupcakes, but they're low carb. So I suppose I've not been snacking on chocolate. It's definitely not as effective as it was in the beginning. And I think or any of these, I've found it's the same with anything. Since that Saxenda, the first month or 2 that I used that was just amazing. Like I felt like I barely even thought about food. But I've never had the experience that I know some people have, where they have to force themselves to eat and they barely want to eat anything. And, you know, I've seen apparently like there's a lot of the Real Housewives that are on Ozempic or Wegovy, same base ingredient. I was just thinking of a comment there. Somebody told me off for saying, stop saying it's the same ingredient. It's not the same drug. It is the exact same ingredient in Wegovy and Ozempic. But Wegovy is for weight loss and Ozempic is for diabetes, but it is the same ingredient. It's the exact same ingredient. It's just that you can take more of Wegovy. You can go to a higher level, thankfully, because if I was on the highest level of Ozempic, I don't think it would be working for me. I'm still on 2.4 and I will just stay on 2.4. And if it became available that you could take more, I would take more. Yeah, it's not as effective, and it hasn't been as effective since I think the first time I took Saxenda. But it's still, the other thing that's good about it is it keeps me fuller for longer, you know. So if I have lunch, for example, I used to be desperate to have my dinner like at 5 o'clock, and I'd literally be snacking on things, trying to like stop that food craving, because I was waiting for Kev to get home, and he at the earliest gets home at 6:30, 7, you know, so the earliest we have dinner is 7. But for example, yesterday he was stuck in traffic for a terrible reason, actually. He was very near what was going on as well. There was a young girl wanting to jump off the bridge, and so all traffic was stopped. And I waited and waited and waited, and eventually I said to him, you know what, I'm actually going to have to eat dinner because I need to take my drugs and I don't know when they're going to kick in, and I don't want to be eating a chili and then going straight to bed, because I go to bed at 8:45. He didn't get home, bless him, until 9 o'clock. I managed just about to keep my eyes open. I like to stay awake, you know, to see him coming in from work. And so he came in and had his chili. But I wasn't like tearing the walls down, you know, I wasn't going crazy with hunger. It was more about my tablets and whatnot. I was hungry, but it just isn't the same as before. It's not that kind of craving. It's not that addiction that it was before. I don't know whether I've talked for way too long in this video. I don't know, I've rambled, don't I? But it's because I want to give you all of the information, you know. That's always the point of my videos, is I want you to get every single bit of information so that you can make an informed choice, because I don't want anybody to ever make a decision that then makes them sick, or, you know, spend that huge amount of money and it not work for them, or it work but it makes you sick, that kind of thing. I want you to have all of the information so that you can make a choice. So hopefully you've got that from this. I will try and do another before and after, but I'll have a look at my last before and after, because I can't remember when I did that video what weight I was at that time, if you know what I mean. I don't think I've changed weight since then. But if I have changed weight, I'll do another before and after. But if I'm kind of the same, then I won't bother. I'll just put the same one in maybe, so you can see the difference, you know. Because they're really tricky photos to do. Yeah, that's everything. I will list all of my makeup in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.